Alright, so having looked at now both the differentiation and also the low cost strategies, we're going to look at the third of the business level strategies that were identified by Michael Porter. And as you can see, it is the focused or market niche strategy. Now, the focused strategy is an integrated set of actions taken to produce goods or deliver services, if you're a service firm, that will serve the needs of a particular segment. So unlike the previous two strategies that we talked about, which were very much broad approaches, this is where you identify a very specific group of consumers or buyers that you're going to target with your product or service. There are two types of focus strategy that we can have a look at, that we will have a look at rather. The first is focus differentiation, which is where, not surprisingly, it is just like a general or broad differentiation strategy, but here you are targeting a very specific group of people by trying to offer higher levels of value. So a good example here that we've got is the car company Bentley, who clearly they offer a differentiation strategy in that they try to make their cars have a greater value as perceived by the customers, but they also target a very specific niche. They don't have a broad range of vehicles, they only have a few cars that they sell and offer to the public, and they are very, very highly priced. So they don't compete with more general or broad differentiation strategy companies like BMW, for example. I've got a little video here to demonstrate this. So clearly, Bentley are a good example of a company that targets a very small niche, as you can tell from their advertisement there. They are a prestige company, but even more specifically, it's at the very, very upper end of the car industry. That they're the type of people that they target, those who like motorsport and like the tradition associated with a brand like Bentley. On the other hand, we can also have a focused cost leadership strategy, which not surprisingly is just like a cost leadership strategy that we discussed previously, but here you focus a very specific type of buyer by trying to create value through lowering the cost associated with producing whatever service or good that it is that your company manufactures. And so here we have a nice little video to demonstrate this again. So as well as being renowned for their clever marketing, they do clearly have, anybody who's bought anything at IKEA will understand that they have a strong reputation for not only low cost, but clearly for within very specific types of furniture and things that they offer. They're very much a niche offering there. So as you can see, firms with focus strategy will gain a competitive advantage in narrow or specific market niches or segment, even though they don't necessarily possess an industry-wide competitive advantage. Certainly, if Bentley was trying to target the same sort of people that BMW was, they may not do as well, but they certainly have the capabilities and so on that enable them to do very well when targeting the high-end buyers. We've got some examples here of specific market segments that can be targeted by a focus strategy. So particular buyer groups, for example. So are you going more the youth look? Are you trying to appeal to younger people specifically? Or are we going more towards our senior citizens, as our man up here in the top right corner demonstrates? Not necessarily all people with Alzheimer's may be your targets, but certainly different segments of a product line. Whether you're going for targeting professional craftsmen or do-it-yourselfers, people who prefer to build things on their own, for example, as opposed to hiring somebody else to do it, or even, and I think we have a little picture here, not really sure, he's more of a do-it-yourselfer, isn't he? And different geographic markets as well, regions you can also target. So you might be looking more towards Victoria. Here we have a beautiful picture representing exactly what you can see in Victoria. Or you might even, if you're getting really desperate, target South Australia, which looks like that. If you've never been to South Australia, that is pretty much their capital city of Adelaide. No, I'm joking, that's not Adelaide. Don't get angry, I'm sorry for anybody who's from Adelaide. Why then would we decide to follow or pursue a focus strategy? When, or under what conditions rather, is it going to be most attractive? What we tend to find when the market niche is big enough, obviously, to be profitable and offers good growth potential, that is going to be clearly conditions under which this strategy is attractive. It's no use saying we're going to target a very specific niche or customer group if that customer group is not big enough to generate income that can make you a profit. So it needs to be profitable, obviously. Also, when industry leaders choose not to compete in that particular niche and they avoid competing against the strong competitors. One of the good things about targeting a very specific niche that you may have identified is not currently being met or served by the other companies is you often, at least initially, will start off with very few competitors. If you're targeting a specific group that do not get targeted by the broader low-cost or differentiation strategy companies, then you might have that little niche or market segment to yourself, at least for a while. When it is costly or difficult for multi-segment competitors to meet the specialised needs of niche buyers, so you might develop specialisation or capabilities and core competencies in a very specific area that more broad companies who try to do many different things well may not have the expertise or even the time and money to become sort of experts in that particular field where you are targeting. Also, when the industry has many different niches and segments, when there's basically many opportunities for you to focus on a certain niche or segment, and also when the rivals have little or no interest in that target segment, again, leaving that all to yourself. There are going to be some conditions, however, under which a focus strategy brings with it a number of competitive risks, and we'll go through these here. First of all, when your competitors will find ways to match the focus firm's capabilities in serving the target niche. So basically, if you have identified what you perceive as an attractive market segment or niche, but it's the sort of thing where your competitors will very quickly be able to copy what you're doing in terms of targeting that specific market segment, then that's going to be a problem for you. Also, when the specialised preferences and needs of niche members will shift over time towards the product attributes desired by the majority of buyers. So for example, if you decide to target a specific niche or market segment, and that might be a specific niche or market segment right now, but if their preferences and buyer tastes shift towards the general market, the rest of the market, then that is no longer a niche or a specific market segment. So that is a significant danger associated with the focus strategy. Finally, as the attractiveness of the segment increases, not surprisingly, other companies who are pursuing the broad differentiation or low-cost strategy will start to notice. This will then obviously draw in greater levels of competition as those larger companies start to say, we want to get into this specific segment or market niche now as well.